All right, so I wanted to take a look at the ship prices since they were at least released a bit online. I think they're in the EPTU as well, but um, the Star Citizen ship performance viewer has them listed here, and so I went ahead and took the time to manually enter these. I don't see a way to export this, so I went ahead and manually input the new prices into my same spreadsheet. Obviously, whenever the new patch drops, they'll change the export, so I can export the new prices. But I wanted to compare it to my current prices and just kind of do some looking at that. So what you have here is all the manufacturers, ships, and the ones you can purchase, obviously in game with aUEC. And so we'll go through this fairly slowly. I'm not going to do a comparison on each ship. I think, you can do reviews, look at reviews. Obviously, a number of you have already purchased ships, so you can kind of take a look at what the new prices are going to be. We don't know yet, obviously, if the ships are going to get reset or if money's going to get reset. And all that stuff is like hyperbole right now. That's a lot of hearsay because, anyone's guess is as good as anyone else's because there hasn't been an announcement on that. So we don't know if the ships will be reset, and we don't know if the money will be reset. So if you want to grind it now, that's fine. If you don't want to grind it now because of that, that's fine too. I get it. I would be upset if I have spent a lot of time playing game and getting a lot of aUEC, and so if they got reset that and all the ships I bought, I would be upset about that. But I think I would keep going. That's up to different people to decide that. Ultimately, if it's really going to bug you that much, don't play the game because, unfortunately, it's in a testing state. I'm using like heavy quotations here because the idea that this game is this old and it's still in like a testing or alpha state is kind of silly. So it needs to be released. There's enough to seem, to kind of go off of at this point. Anyways, we're getting really sidetracked here. So we've done an intro here, and now we're looking at the prices. So we have the old prices here in column O, and then in column P, we have the new prices that, again, I got from this particular site. I can go ahead and probably put that in the description so y'all can find that. And then we have the precise price change. So this is the percent change on the new price versus the old price. And so obviously most of these are going to be positive, and then some might be negative. So I've done a couple colors here. I have orange if it's from 200 to 300%, so 3 to 4 times the price. I have red if it's 400 or more. So 5 times or more, it's red. So if you're looking at a red thing, you go, okay, that's at least going to be 5 times the price. It's green though if it went the other way, which there's a couple of these cases. I think the C8R is one and the cutter, but we'll get to each of those as well. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of scroll through the listing here. We'll highlight some of those that have gone up and then some that have gone down. You see the hammerhead here has gone up pretty high. It's almost 300%. 300% would be 4 times the price. So I think if you did 412 here, it'd be 49. So anyways, pretty hefty price increase here to be expected for some of these bigger ships. And then I will have a discussion around how I consider the valuation piece, which is the valuation is just converting. If you converted your real world money into aUEC and then tried to buy it outright with just in-game money, obviously you wouldn't do that. You want to pay for the package price, but it's still a way to compare pricing of in-game versus out-of-game money, because you want to convert one to the other to kind of understand how much of a discount you're actually getting when you purchase the ship as a bundle, or you buy the ship independently versus spending all your money to convert it to aUEC to make the purchase. So we do see the C8R is the first ship that has been brought down in price, which is nice. That's my starter ship. I may end up swapping that for a different one, but it's good to see that has gone down in price a bit here, which also makes it a little less. When we look at the valuation piece, it means it's probably better to buy in game, to be honest, at this price point. I just kind of skip over the Vanguards here, but you can see some pretty hefty price increases there. It's funny, I never get Discord messages, and then when I do these videos, I get Discord messages. It's pretty awesome. There's very few servers I actually have that, and it was something I actually mentioned I should do a Discord. It's something I should consider, but I just haven't managed that stuff before. It's something I'd have to put together. Okay, so looking back here, nothing majors with the F7Cs here, the Hornet. There's a 100% increase, so it's not nothing, right? It's still something, but it's just nothing that's like standing out. It's just super outrageous. I think these orange and reds are really showing the outrageous price increases, and for some of them, they're just ground vehicles. So even though this looks like it's super ridiculous, you have to consider the idea that it was maybe too cheap to begin with. I don't know. Again, I don't have a way to really value this, but I can tell you the value has gone up by 300%. Again, whether or not this was 300% too low, I don't know, is arguable. Same thing looking here. Again, the Valkyrie kind of disappoints me here that we go down or this high up in price. Maybe 100 times would be something I would be going after. It's unfortunate because I do want to, this is kind of marked as a ship that I personally would want to keep just because I like it. It reminds me of like the Aliens dropship or, just any generic dropship in games. And so I foresee myself buying this one in the game and having a part of my fleet. I would never spend this amount of money on the particular Valkyrie, but it's still interesting to see that the price has gone up that much. So almost 4 times, 3.5. But anyways, it's quite a bit. It's over 4 times as much, but to be almost 350% is kind of crazy. All right, then we have a hover quad, so it's gone down in price, which is good, I guess. Mustangs are here. Not a lot of big changes here. This is a huge change. Obviously, the A2. I would honestly think the C2 would need more of this price increase than the A2. I get it. The A2's got big bombs in it, and it does a lot of damage, so it makes sense it would go up there. But it's kind of weird to see that the C2 had, compared to the other two, a moderate increase. Again, they're high. I would figure they'd all be red, to be honest, because, well, I wouldn't find this to be red. Actually, I would flip these two. I would have this be orange, or not, maybe only 100% increase or something, right? 10 million would still be a lot, but you maybe flip these prices or something, because the C2 is a pretty big go-to, as you can see here with the SCUs on how much people can do with trading. Yeah, I mean, they jive a bit more with their regular prices. They jive more with their out-of-game prices, the real world money prices increases here. But yeah, I mean, this is 8%, 8 times the price, which is kind of crazy. Continuing down here, Cutlass Steel, a large increase here. I did mark it as orange, even though it's not quite 200, but it's basically 200%. You're 195 here, rounding up. So that's crazy to see that price increase, considering a vehicle that it's pretty pointless right now, or at least nobody ever uses. So maybe they have some big plans for dropships coming, because they raised all the prices pretty hefty on the dropships when they really have no gameplay loop right now, really, or you can't get enough people to play with each other, like play in the same games or on the same server to actually, I don't know, do all that. But maybe with the new server meshing stuff, they'll plan on some more gameplay with that. The cutter went down in price, which is cool. I like to see that because I like the cutter quite a bit. So that's gone. That's a positive change there. I didn't see the Cutter Scout on there, so that's why it's blacked out here. I don't have the new price available to me on that one, so I didn't put it in here. Prowler, again, another drop ship that's gone up pretty significantly for a ship that nobody uses. So the rocks have gone down, which is cool as well. So I was thinking to myself, the rocks might be the new mining kind of go-to for the starter guide. Once they fix the bug that my starter guide is based off of, I'll have to figure out a more legitimate way. I mean, I think those salvageable ships, I mean, I don't think that's like a super bug. I mean, salvageable ships should be, if you can jumpstart them or repair them. I'd like hand salvage to be more viable, and be able to do salvaging still just by hand instead, to complete salvage missions and sell the salvage, and that'd be a viable income. But rock mining might be the way to go for new players up to X amount of money, which the X amount of money is probably maybe the vulture as salvage gameplay. And maybe bounty hunting will be good. Anyways, so I'm just getting sidetracked here, but that's a good change here to see these go down in price. Here, and the only difference here, I think, is just the amount of mining material you can actually get in them. Yeah, some other, kind of not ground vehicles, but small vehicles. Those aren't meant for heavy transport. I think it's passengers, really just a small little vehicle. Same thing with the little Archimedes here. Archimedes is a small little snub. Oh, this is a racer, not the snub fighter. Sorry. Razors will gone down in price here for this one. The other ones are slight increase ups. Going through here, got the origin ships. They going up a little bit. Nothing super major here until you get obviously to some of the biggers. 890 jump. Surprisingly, because of the price is super high, but it's only twice as expensive, or it's only 100% more than what it was before, so it's only twice as expensive. Which is kind of funny. I mean, you can see it's I think it's still the most expensive ship here, but by comparison of what it was at before, it's only twice as expensive. So, anyways, still a big. So, I mean, I should have marked it maybe as orange or something, but again, relative to its original price, the price increase was not super crazy. It's just twice as much. Again, I say just twice as much when you compare some of these changes, though. Just twice as much is low damage compared to some of these other high ones. Aurora here gone up quite a bit, and we get down towards the bottom. A lot of these changes with these cyclones, quite a bit of an increase, but they were relatively low to begin with anyway. So again, is this almost 500% increase unrealistic? I don't know, because they were all the same price to begin with, and they did need some love with the pricing. Whether or not I need to go up this high, I don't know, but this isn't a lot of money either way. So it's all relative. Yeah, I just wanted to take a look at that. Obviously, I have a soft spot for like the Reclaimer. So we go take a look at the Reclaimer. It's twice as much as well. So some of these really big ones, and the Carrack wasn't too bad either, if I recall. So if I go to N, let's see. Carrack right here. Relatively small increase here as well. So again, these prices are high, but they're relatively small increases. So this isn't even twice as much, whereas some of the other ones were twice as much. Obviously, the Hammerhead is the only one that stuck out as being pretty expensive. So yeah, up to you to decide if you think that's worth the price increase or not. So we're about a little over 10 minutes in. Thanks to y'all for watching. If feel free to kind of scroll through this as I talk about this a little bit, but feel free to pause and take a look at any of these price changes that you were wanting to know, and you could see what the percent change is on that, if that's something that interests you. Again, these are all just way to kind of look and analyze the numbers. Up next, and so thanks to those that have come to watch that part and are all done. But up next, I'm going to take a look at, again, the what I call evaluation, which is taking a look at how much of a discount you're getting on your ship if you decide, if you want to do some sort of comparison on how much your real world purchasing money can get you on a particular ship, is by comparing, hey, how much, if I were to convert my real money into aUEC, what is my actual buying power versus the price that they're actually selling the ship for? I keep calling it a ship package, but what they sell the price of the ship for. So what this is a look at is if you were to take aUEC, so for every $5 you spend, this is US dollars, or 20, vice versa, but really you're getting, for every dollar, you're getting 1,000 aUEC. So what I've done is I've converted the original price, or the price of aUEC, into real world money. So if you wanted to buy the new price for the Stalker, you would need to spend $1,500, almost $1,600. In real world money to convert it, just to buy it in game with aUEC. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that. So what this is looking at is the actual discount of money you're getting to save if you just spend the $60. Obviously, that's much better than spending this much amount of money. However, there's still something valuable there with that money. And what that means is that I've always kind of taken a look, and I think I'm gonna have to reevaluate this given the new prices. But my original thought on the old valuations was it needs to at least be 90% to be interesting, to be worthwhile a discount to buy. Otherwise, if you're looking at the valuation and with the old, especially the old valuation that I had, if it was lower than that, so like if you see here, it's 85% for the Vanguard Harbinger. So for me, the Vanguard Harbinger would have been better to buy in game. And you can see here, it's the lower cost of the Harbingers. It scales pretty well too with the Sentinel. But anyways, it was some way to kind of evaluate, am I getting enough bang for my buck when I'm spending this amount of money? And in this case, you're not. This 290 was way too much money when you could reasonably get this 11 million. And just the discount that you were getting was not enough. Now, obviously, these prices are pretty inflated. So this valuation, I'll have to reconsider this a bit. But my old thoughts were 90% is the bottom I would recommend for someone to spend on evaluation before you would buy it in game. I think otherwise it would be more reasonable to buy it out of the game, or buy it in game with aUEC. Sorry. So if it was 90% or higher, you would maybe want to consider spending real world money on it if it's within your budget. But if it was 90% or lower, you would want to just spend aUEC on it. And again, the thought process there is that there was some kind of misalignment with CIG's pricing, and it was cheaper in game compared to how much you would spend out of the game. And again, that's just a comparison on the discount that you're getting on it versus your real world money versus aUEC. Additionally, again, the new valuations are going to be a little more inflated, so I'll have to do some more thoughts on that. My personal breakpoint was 95%. I wanted it at least to be at 95% before I even consider buying it with real world money. But there's some craziness down here. If we take a look, the mule is the first one that comes up, and the mule was 200% more expensive. It wasn't even a discount. So what that meant is it would cost you $15 to buy the mule back before they made this adjustment. So you would, you'd buy that 10 and 5 aUEC, and then you can get that 15,000 on your account, and you would just go buy it in game, and that would actually be cheaper than spending $45 because $15 is cheaper than $45 by 3 times. And so you're saving more money by buying it in game instead of paying for the $45 package. Now that has changed because they have changed the price pretty significantly. It's oh, hey, look at that. As you're checking your work as I do it live, right? Orange. Because now that it's orange and it has almost a 4-time price increase, it was 3.5 times price increase. It's now lower. It's closer, right? So the $68.45, they jive much better. However, again, if you're looking at this price, it's a 33%. It's almost less than 40% discount on the converting your money. So that's just not there. Like it would just be easier. Obviously, you can spend $5 if you really like the mule, but this really means that. Whoop, making mistakes live. But what this really means is that with 33%, it's probably the price is cheap enough for you to farm this out. And I think this is definitely the case for the mule. The mule, it's a hard sell for me to say you should buy this in game. For me, I would always want to farm the money out in game to get this. All right. Yeah. I was trying to go through these valuations, but only the C8s were really, and some of the other starter ships were kind of sticking out to me as being low in the valuation department. Maybe that standard will change to being 95% before I think anyone, if it's 95% or lower, you might want to try to grind it out. But that's going to be relative to the time you have to spend in the game versus real world money. If you have a bunch of money to spend, then spend it on whatever you want. Like, I don't know why you're even listening to anyone's input anyways. If you have hundreds of dollars to spend per month on a ship or in-game stores and you want to buy whatever you want, then buy whatever you want. You don't need someone to tell you to purchase one thing one way or the other. But if you have a limited budget on how much you want to spend in the game, it's better to look at something like this and say, hey, if I was looking at the C8R Pisces, oh man, you're only getting less than a 90% discount. Why is that? Well, because the price in game is relatively cheap compared to the competition, and it just the discount for the price they're charging you to get in the game is too high. And so I don't know. Maybe they'll change this price, and maybe I got ripped off because I've actually paid this price to upgrade my ship. I think I upgraded it from what did I upgrade? The Mustang. So maybe I got taken by that deal, but they need to lower this price to bring this up, to bring this more in line with what it should be valued at. So this should be $45 at this point. So I don't know if they'll do that and make that adjustment, but at the end of the day, that's the kind of adjustment it would be nice if they could do. If they don't do that, then I don't know. Either way, I'm probably going to change my starter ship to something bigger anyways and upgrade it. But yeah, at the end of the day, you just want to take a look at these valuations, or I don't know. This is the way I to try to decide if the valuation's worth it. Same thing with the other C8Rs. I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know why I missed the actual C8R here, or the C8 Pisces. I just straight missed it, I guess, when I was doing the conversion. I don't have the calculation anymore, so if someone wants to see this, I could definitely put it on the back end. But yeah, that's pretty much it. These percentages, you can take a look at them, and it's easy to tell. Again, a lot of them are inflated at this point. The ones that are a little bit lower are typically like starter or lower cost ships. That still kind of means that unless you're buying it as an actual starter package, you may not want to spend real world money on it. The Nomad is interesting here because it's under 95%, which again I think might be my new baseline for trying to decide if I should buy it out of the game or not. Now the Cutter, yeah. See, a lot of these starter ships kind of have this problem either way. This is 92%. So by my same reasoning, the Cutter wouldn't be worthwhile buying. But I like this Cutter. I think it's a good starter ship. So maybe they'll change these other ship prices. But yeah, this is the best way for me to convert. You have to convert money one way or the other. So I'd have to either convert my money, to aUEC, obviously makes the most sense. I'd convert it to in-game money to try to understand what my money is actually buying, the buying power of my money. And this, to look at this discount versus what they actually sell the ship for in the store, is the best way for me to make that kind of comparison and try to justify the sale a bit. I guess it's kind of the way it mentally goes. Does it really justify it? I don't know, but at least it allows me to get some kind of value on and compare the two. Otherwise, there's no real way to make a comparison on the ships unless you can convert the money to make a comparison there and then decide, is it worthwhile to spend your real world money into a game. That's up to you to decide anyways, but this is still just some way to try to make that decision a little bit easier one way or the other. A prospector a little bit low here as well. The Vulture I wanted to take a look at. So here's the Vulture. It's gone up a bit. In my Vulture review, I hounded it pretty hard because it was under 90%. There was really no reason that anyone would want to buy that ship out of the game for almost $200 when it just was easier to go ahead and farm out this a little over $1 million, right? $1.25 million here. Even with its new price, 2.5, or about quarter billion. Sorry, that's not a quarter billion. My goodness, it's been a long day for me. But anyways, this 2.646. I don't know, 2 million. It seems like it's reasonable. Well, almost. I mean, rounding up to 3 million here, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty low valuation here. So I think it would be better just to grind it out in game at this point. It's still better for the prospector because I think the prospector price is just higher. As we look at here, it's like 95% almost. Anyway, I wouldn't still recommend you spend the $155 in US dollars. I would recommend that somebody try to grind out I'd always say try to recommend grinding out the ship because there's nothing much else to do. And these are the currently the ability to, the gold sinks, if you will, that most games have, is to spend the money in game to get more money, or to spend your money in game to get different ships to unlock different gameplay loops. So for me, it's almost like an experience system. I know I've said that in the past, but this is running long. These are the valuations. So again, thank you all for watching. Let me know if you want more discussion on the valuation piece, or I tried to convey it the best as possible, but I wasn't doing a very good job at it. It's been a long day for me. I'm pretty tired. Long day at work. So yeah, I just wanted to share this. The numbers here, feel free again to pause and take a look through, or ask questions in the comments below. But thank you all for watching, and for those that are taking the time to subscribe, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.